It's 6:15 in Douala, Yaoundé, and in Kumba, southwest of Cameroon. We begin with our top stories. Women's Day activities gather steam. The Velocity in Tailoring workshop is going to be one of our focus on today's edition of the news in English. And of course, we're going to talk about the African free trade, continental free trade, as it's still difficult for it to take off, as member countries who are aligned to the treaty are still to sit up. Top stories. To the 6:15 news with me, Kejang Henry Atimbe. Of course, you can hook up with us on our social media handle. To the celebration of the International Women's Day, tailoring workshops are gathering steam. Of course, they are very serious velocity, as we are struggling to make sure they produce the Women's Day fabric so that the women will be able to celebrate come that day. Haisincha went through some of these workshops across Cameroon's political capital. This is the report.
The sewing machines are vibrating non-stop, less than 48 hours to the celebration of the 38th edition of the International Women's Day. The early birds, like these women, have collected their cabas from the tailoring workshops and are ready for the feast on the D-Day. My kaba is ready. I'm set for the D-Day to feast with other women. I gave it early to avoid last-minute rush and quarrels. Saturated and to avoid disappointing their clients at the last minute, many are contented with the number of fabrics collected, blocking any further entries, especially for reasons of unstable electricity supply. I limited the number, so I have less pressure. I stopped accepting since last week to be able to deliver all. It is better that way. Last-minute clients are still coming, but I can no longer collect. It is very difficult for us. With the regular power cuts, we can't work as planned. Other workshops are highly expecting customers, but none is forthcoming. It is very bad. My shop is dry. I ought to be smiling with enough customers at this time, but it is not the case. And as a clue of what will be seen on March 8, the fashion designers continue to blandish the different captivating models sold from the Women's Day fabric.
And the International Migration Organization, the IMO, is working with its partners to make sure they empower internally displaced persons from the war-torn northwest and southwest regions of the country. 100 of the internally displaced persons have received training, as we hear from you, Morindi.
Like Gladys, many internally displaced persons can now pride themselves of initiating income-generating activities. However, they are seeking for more government support. With the challenges faced by IDPs, the International Organization for Migration is accompanying these young indigenous people. Manjo, Melon, Kong, Samba, Bonobere are some of the chosen communities that first benefited from the project. The International Migration Organization, in partnership with the Business Development Agency, are planning same training across other parts of Cameroon.
And in more Women's Day activity, it was a wonderful sports walk during the weekend, as we are going to hear from Haisincha, in which thousands of women were part of the activities. And this was led by the Minister of Women Empowerment, Abena Ondwa. Details with Haisin. Over
2,000 women answered present with this grand sport walk, this weekend in Yaoundé as part of the numerous activities in prelude of the 38th edition of the International Women's Day. The exercise, which brought together women from different ministries, civil society organizations, and various enterprises, unfolded in over 10 kilometers distance from the 20th May Boulevard through Elik Suno, Longkak Roundabout, Provence, Wada Road Junction, and back to the starting point, led by the police women.
It's really a privilege for me, and I'm so happy because for me, being a policewoman makes me also a part of a woman. Before being a policewoman, I was first of all a woman. So I'm so happy to be here today to meet with other women. And I'm happy to dance, do things. At least we are so excited.
This under the patronage of the Minister of Women Empowerment and the Family, Marie-Thérèse Abena Ondua, who used the occasion to send a special message to the ladies.
It should become part of their life, and including other measures that are recommended to keep good health. So the message for them is to come in numbers for the march past, and those who cannot be with us, they can do it in their divisions and be disciplined, and not forget the team. Good use of ICTs.
The day was also punctuated by a special race for women living with disabilities, with the winners bagging home significant prizes.
Thanks, Hyacinth Chair, and of course, junior members of Parliament have been schooled on the importance of a civil status registration document in their lives. In fact, they receive educational talks anyway from women as part of the activities of Women's Day. Beatrice Ngamo.
In Cameroon, statistics reveals some 66% of children live without existence. That is without any birth declaration, registration in the name of certificate. Whereas it is the first civil status document which establishes the legal existence of any individual. The educative talk with junior parliamentarians and youths this month in Yaoundé is to sensitize, edify, and communicate on the necessity, importance, and impact of having a civil status document. Simple, down-to-earth exchange the women of the National Civil Status Registration Office outline on the civil status facts that starts with birth, but includes also marriage and death certificates. Birth certificate is the gateway to many opportunities, and so no child should be left behind. The junior MPs are apt with what it takes to put the advocacy before the people's representatives and government ministers.
All parents should try to create better certificates for their children and for every family members. And us junior parliamentarians, we are putting our voice up to sensitize all the parliamentarians so that they can sensitize, so that parents don't want to send their children to school without birth certificates.
Discussion in line with the theme of this 38th International Women's Day, digital innovation and technology for gender equality. And it ties in line with efforts to modernize the civil status registration system and the challenges that goes with doing so in this era of digitalization.
And female journalists of the Cameroon Association of English-Speaking Journalists Douala chapter have been drilled on the use of digital tools in this very competitive world. They received the training over the weekend as part of activities of the International Women's Day. Sharifa Saleh was part of that activity.
Digital innovation and technology for gender equality is the theme for the International Women's Day 2023. It is on that banner that English-speaking journalists were trained on the digital aspects of journalism.
Women in digital entrepreneurship will do that 10 times faster. So it's important that women embrace this because they can spread their impact faster than before. Today, the world is going digital, and if women want to continue to create impact in the entrepreneurial sphere, then they must embrace digital entrepreneurship.
Also present were students of the Higher Institute of Management Sciences who aspire to build a career in journalism and communication. Dr. Elmin, who is founder and chairperson of Fortabe University of Cameroon, and Laura Dave, CEO of Laura Dave Media, were main speakers during the professional corner.
There is much more to discover. Pick it up and start learning. This journey it's a whole journey. It's not a destination. So you start from somewhere, start from the easiest. There is WhatsApp, there is Facebook, there is Insta. Start from there and then discover the other tools. What is sure is that there are lots of tools, but the good news is that everything is found within reach, right in your hands, in your smartphone.
At the heart of the creation of values, the know-how of young female entrepreneurs is one of the main objectives of the association. From the presentations, these student journalists and their senior professional colleagues will know that discipline is another factor that will be a plus in building their communication.
Chamu will be here in a split second with the brief in sports. From all of us, it's goodbye from me.